So now we have a turret. And it stays with us. Cool. So we're one step closer there. See, we have a turret. It stays with us. And its angle that it's drawn is independent of whatever angle we are facing. Hey everybody, Editor Axe Wizard here. I cut this video into two parts. This was originally like an hour-long clip, and it's mostly just me floundering along in my own thought processes and making a mess of things. This might be one to skip. I'm going to start including, you probably already saw, but what the fruits of the labor of this episode are. So this episode is just figuring out how I want to handle the turret as far as drawing it and managing it. And then the next episode is going to be my first attempt at programming the logic of having it automatically fire. And that's going to be a mess. So enjoy, I guess. Let's get to the video. What's up, everybody? Axe Wizard here. Welcome back. When we last left off, I just created the ability for us to do damage to some dummy ships here. So now we're actually destroying them. Cool. And we can tackle the task I was originally trying to do last episode, which was handle independent firing weapons. So now that we've got enemies that we can target, now we have to handle independent targeting weapons. So what I'm going to do real quick here is I'm going to create another placeholder sprite. So I'm going to do SPR. I'm going to do SPR placeholder turret. And I'm just going to make a really small dinky, let's do 24 by 24. There we go. Apply. Edit image. Let's do 4. There we go. So that should give us some good stuff to do here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a super basic like turret that will sort of dynamically aim around and be able to shoot baddies. So let me make this a little bigger. And I'm going to do right here as well. There we go. So then I'm going to boom. I'm going to make this a big old fatty turret. You know, maybe I don't want it to be that big, you know. That's a bit much. We'll do something like this. There we go. Cool. So there you go. That should be our turret. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of sweet artwork here. Boom, look at that. We made a cool turret. Now it probably doesn't have to, I probably could have just do these separate, so you have like the back plate and then the turret will rotate on top of it, but this is just placeholder stuff. Who really cares? So let me add a little bit more detail to this just cuz. There we go. That looks all right to me. Cool. We've done it. Outstanding. Save. Now if we go back, I want to set the middle center of this. So this will be our placeholder turret. Cool. So now that I've done that, let's go back to my ship here. So because an automated turret is going to require its own object, we're probably going to need to keep track of that ID so that we can manage it So for example, if our ship gets destroyed, we also want to destroy any turrets that are attached to us. So we're going to need, so let me just add another weapon here. And this will be a turret weapon. So I should have just, oh, whatever. Let me get rid of these comments here, because we have them in the documentation. We want to keep our code somewhat clean without a bunch of busy stuff, because I know that for me, if I see like a ton of comments, to me it's just a wall of text and I have a hard time seeing what's going on. So I like having my comments sort of out of the way, or at least sparsely accenting what we're trying to do. So I think under fixed, we're going to need to have maybe, well, I think all of the weapons. So I should be able to place like those weapons on the ship in different places, no matter where they are. They might be fixed weapons, or they might be, let's just focus on what we're doing. I feel like I'm overcomplicating this. I have been at this for a few hours now. I should probably take a break, but I want to finish this part. So let's just say, for lack of a better word, turret ID, and let me add this under fixed. Turret ID equals, I'm going to do no one for now, but the ID of the instance of the turret object. Okay. So how do I want to handle this? This is tough. So what I'll do is I'll just do instance create, and I'll do depth, and you know what? I'm going to have to do this after I initialize this object, because I'm going to have to use values here, and I can't reference those here. So I'm just going to set this to no one. Oh, this is really tough. Turret ID. Okay. So now we're going to want to iterate through our primary weapons and create any turrets that need to be created. So this is during our create event. So what we're going to do is we're going to do for var I equals 0, I less than array length. P weapons is our variable. I'm starting to feel really tired now. I plus equals 1. So what we're going to do, check to see if this weapon is an independent firing weapon. If we do fixed is true, it's a fixed weapon. Continue on in the loop. Skip this iteration. Right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a word continue. So what we're doing is we're iterating through all these weapons here, and we're just saying, hey, if fixed is true, then just skip to the next object here, and just keep going until we find one that fixed is going to be false. Okay? So if fixed is false, okay, fixed should be false here. So let's create a turret and place it where it needs to go. Create a turret and set its values. So what we're going to do is we're just going to say var t equals instance create. And we're also going to need to have xx, yy, I'm just gonna say, darn it, stop doing that. T. So we're gonna need to calculate where it needs to be placed. And this is going to be similar to what we did here, where we're doing offset length and offset direction. Except we're going to probably need to add more variables, darn it. You know what? No, we're just going to use offset. Yeah, we're just going to use those same things, because the projectile is going to be made at the XY coordinate of where that turret is, wherever it's going to be facing. It should be fine. So we're going to pretty much do the same thing here. So, boom. So XX equals. The problem is we're going to have to update that like every step too. Which is going to be fun. Calculate where it needs to be placed. Offset LED, there we go. So we're going to create XX, YY. Depth, we want it to be on top of us. So I'm going to do depth minus, I'm just going to say depth minus 5. I think that'll work out fine, because it's going to be on top of us. And the object that we're going to want to create is OBJ turret. Did I do that? Placeholder. Oh, I didn't create a turret yet. You know what? Do I even need to make an object for that? Or can I just simply make a sprite there and then control? Because we're already calculating where we're going to be placing the yeah. I like this a lot better. We don't need another object for this. So we can do turret sprite. And we're going to set this to SPR placeholder turret. Okay. So that means we don't have to do this thing here. We can get rid of this. And we're already controlling the angle at which it's going to be, so we're good to go there. And we're already controlling the sector in which it can fire, so we're good to go there. I'm just going to put a 0-360 because it's the same. Doesn't matter. Okay. So we got our sprite. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add a draw event, because we're going to be we're going to be managing another sprite other than our own. So let's do a draw event. Let's add draw. So first things first, we need to draw our own sprite. So whenever you do a draw event, GameMaker disables all the draw stuff it was doing before. So by default, it was already drawing your sprite for you. Since we're doing an override of the draw event, we're going to need to say draw self. Otherwise, our sprites, our ship is going to be invisible. That's going to drive us nuts. So draw self. Now we need to iterate through our weapons and see if we need to draw any turrets. So we're going to do another for loop here. So we're going to do this again. Copy. Paste. So iterating through. And we're going to do similar logic. If fixed is true, then we don't care. We're going to, let's see, not a turret, skip iteration. So we're going to continue. And now, draw the turret. So we're going to do var xx, yy. I think it should be all we need. So XX is going to, we're going to just copy this again. Copy. Okay. So we've got this. P weapons, I. Image angle. So yes, so this will be our default XY there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw sprite. We're going to draw, since we're storing the sprite we want to draw inside of our array, we're going to want to reference it here. So we're going to do turret sprite. Subimage is just going to be 0 because I don't. You can also control the animation, so you can pick what frame you want to draw. And I'm going to do XXYY. So there we go. So we should be able to draw our sprite there. But we need to also be able to change the angle. So draw sprite doesn't let us do that. So what if we do draw sprite extended? So this is where we can add some options here. So we've got, let me just copy these. I can get rid of this here. So we've got the sprite, the subimage, X, Y. We can also choose the X and Y scale, so we can scale it if we want. I'm just going to put 1 for those. Keep those the same. The rotation is the angle that we're going to draw it at. So since we're storing that in our array, we're going to access that with P weapons, I. And I believe we had that as just angle. Yeah. So angle. The color is just going to be C white. You can also like change how the color you draw it in. If you just want to draw it the normal color as the sprite you made it, just use C white. And then the alpha determines like the opacity of it. So I can make it like semi-transparent if I wanted to. An alpha of 0 is completely invisible. An alpha of 1 it's visible like normal, no transparency. So that's what we're doing. And I'm looking down here at the very bottom because this gives me the little argument helper of what arguments this function is expecting. So now that we're drawing that, if we hit play, I think it should be drawing some random turret. Oh, I did a dumb. If P weapons, yeah, I'm starting to get tired here, guys. P weapons, I fixed, save. There we go. So now if I run it, so now we have a turret. And it stays with us. Cool. So we're one step closer there. See, we have a turret. It stays with us, and its angle that it's drawn is independent of whatever angle we are facing. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna. Oh God, there's still so much to do. Okay, we drew a turret. I just want to finish this before I go to bed, man. I'm starting to run out of energy here.